You're watching Real Talk with Myron Mitchell.
Welcome back to Real Talk with Myron Mitchell. And again, we have my trusty, might as well call him co-host from now. He's been here three, four times. Um, or just arranged guest, because I love to have him because he has so much knowledge in the parenting and just being a man totally. So we're going to use his knowledge again today because we're speaking about parents and communication. So welcome you again.
Glad to be here, man. Glad to be here with you.
Glad to have you, man. We
Glad to be here with you.
we got to get on our topics. We ain't been on them, in a couple of weeks. So we got to double up.
And we got Father's Day coming next month, so we really got to do something
Okay,
in
see.
the month of June.
Okay, so we really got to get
Yeah.
on our P's and Q's.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to jump back into the parenting role and jump back into what is a father's role. Give us maybe two or three that you think are the most important things that a father should be in a parenting role and raising a kid.
I think the first most important role for a father is available. You got to be there.
Okay.
I mean, you got to be there. And I think what fathers need to understand is you can be available and not live in the home.
Say that again. How you gonna be available and not living?
Easy. I mean, there's phones, there's FaceTimes, there's all kind of instant messaging, there's everything. I mean, you should be able to see and talk to your child all the time. So, being available, you got to be available because you can live in the home and really not be in the home.
Correct.
So you can live, you got fathers every day who live with their children but don't know nothing about them.
Right.
So I'm saying you got to be available, meaning that you got to be there, I think, face to face. Or if a father is not living in the home, he got to make himself available through visits, through phone calls, through, so you got to be available.
So when you say available, I think of available also as if a child is in a sport, showing up for a game.
Right, that's availability. Yeah.
If a child is, even if you are out of town and you don't live in the same town, you don't have to go to every game, but just showing up when you can show up.
Right.
If it's the last game or the first game,
Right.
Or if it's just the all-star game, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's part of being available. My father did that. My mother and daddy divorced when I was 9. And
Right.
he moved from Nashville to Birmingham, but every weekend he came home to see me, he came to the basketball games and all that, so he was available.
Right.
And he didn't live in the house.
So as also with the father being a cheerleader, so to speak. And when I say a cheerleader, to be a positive, role model, speaking positivity, encouraging the kids to do what they do. If it's chess, if it's debate team, if it's a drawing team, whatever it is, be positive and cheer them on.
And I look at that specific topic, a word as supportive.
Supportive.
Yeah, available and supportive, two different things. They're cousins to one another, but they're two different things. But I look at going to activities, going to my daughter's dance recitals and all that, being supportive of whatever extracurricular activity that your child is doing.
Okay, I want to back up because I had one of my friends, homeboys. He said that his father was not there as much, but he didn't feel like his role was to change diapers, was to until the kid got to a certain age is when he took over.
And see, that's where most men get it dead wrong. How you gonna have a baby and the baby is 2 months old, but you gonna say, you know what, I wanna wait and be involved in the baby life when he get 4, when he get out of diaper.
Well,
But that's
do you feel like that's something wrong if he feels like he doesn't have the capacity as a
No, I think he does have the capacity. The difference between want to and making an excuse. He could have did that. He's living.
right.
He's able to do that. He could have did that. And really he's missing a great time in his children's lives, changing their diaper, feed. He missing all that great opportunity.
Right. Me, I'm just playing devil's advocate. That's one of my favorite parts.
Right.
Is to be there for my son, to give him a hug if he needed, to whatever it is daily that he needs. I'm his daily support.
Right.
He don't have to call customer support. He ain't got to. That's what my job is.
To do. Yeah, and your job is also you can't pick and choose which role you have.
Right.
As a father, you can't pick and choose the roles.
Right.
You're a father.
Right.
So you can't pick and choose. Okay, I want a hug and I want to take him to baseball practice. I don't want to change no diaper.
I don't want to change no diaper.
Come on, man. You got this the wrong sport.
Well, I'm saying that because I wanted to bring that to light because I didn't think that in my head I didn't think that was right, but I just wanted to run that by you, another father, to understand if you see it the same way.
I mean, sometimes we fathers have been. Sometimes again, that's going back to what we talked about. Sometimes we don't know our roles, man.
Right.
We don't know our roles.
And some of us, and we speaking to the young fathers, some fathers who because I'm going to speak for myself, I was a young father.
Wow.
I was 18 the first time I had a kid.
You didn't know?
And I didn't know a lot of these things in which we are talking about at this, because I myself was still growing up.
Right.
I was still growing and maturing in the mind and mentally and physically and emotionally.
But it's all right not to know, but it's not all right to when you learn better to still don't do better.
Yeah, of course.
So you can't say as a father, you shouldn't say. You can say I didn't know this at 18, but at 30, at 35, you know this.
Right.
So you got to change your behavior.
Right. Yeah. And that's who we're speaking to.
Right.
That's who we're speaking to. Right. So what are other roles besides?
We said available. Another role is to me is real big is to be accountable. Mm-hmm. So you have to be accountable with your children. You have to, whatever you say you're gonna do, you have to do. You have to be there for them. So when your son needs something more than money, advice, counsel, whatever he might need, you got to be accountable. He got to know that he or she can count on you. Mm-hmm. Also, I think another role of a father is he has to be a teacher.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And when I say teacher, I always tell my guys, I put a P on the front of teacher, positive teacher. Sometimes you can be a teacher and be a negative teacher as well, about some of our behaviors. But we have to teach our boys the proper way to talk to young ladies, proper way to dress. We have to teach our daughters the proper way, the things to look for in a quality guy. And your daughter not going, because the first man or girl falls in love with is a father.
Right.
So if she don't see that shape of the guy from her father, then, we looking for love in all the wrong places.
All the wrong places. And another thing that you said, Father, they said an emotional anchor.
What emotion? Yeah, so what that means, Myron, is when your daughter comes to you at 10 years old and she says, Daddy, I want to show you something. What? She said, look what I found on the bus. And it's a condom. Mm-hmm. And the first thing you do is lose it. Girl, where you get that from? I ain't did that. Oh, I ain't done it. You go all off instead of, because what she gonna remember is, okay, the next time I need to talk to Daddy about something, he can't handle that.
Yeah.
So maybe I can talk to Kenny on the bus about this condom, and he gonna tell her the wrong thing. Right. So you gotta have a 10-year-old conversation with your daughter. So the emotional anchor is whatever they bring to you, you got to be able to handle it
emotionally and without
flipping out, without flipping out,
without letting them know that it even bothered you emotionally. If it did, you have to block that out.
But you really want to let them know that, wow, I can come to Daddy for anything.
Right.
He didn't judge me.
Right.
He kept it a buck.
He kept it a buck.
Yeah,
he handled it. And when they grow up, they'll understand that.
Yeah. So that's So that was a real good one. Yeah. So being an emotional anchor is very important.
One other, and this is I guess where I would say I was thinking this to my head. It's called a value setter, and I was gonna say, is it a standard? Do you hold your kids to a standard? Like this is the Ronnie Cage way. This is the Cage standard.
Well, I look at value value is the definition of value is what you think is important or have worth. So in order for you to teach your kids values, you have to have values. So you can't tell your children, hey, don't be drinking, don't be profanity, all that, and then you doing it.
Right.
Because kids model what they see, not what they hear come out your mouth.
Right.
So as a parent, our values got to be in line with what we say we want our children to do. Because one thing I love about these kids nowadays, I got daughters 34 and 30, and they in that age group where, my daughters will check me on, you ain't do, right. You gotta model what you preach.
Right.
So as a parent, when we talking about values, you have to model those values that you want your kids to portray. Right. I feel.
And it says in here, morals. What is it that you would hold as a father, that you would hold your kids to? Because sometimes we say, they did this, but that's just them. But what is it that you say, you know what, in this family, this right here is not acceptable? This is acceptable.
Well, morals is, first we got to break down the term. The morals is the definition of right and wrong.
Right.
So I know I used to always, me and my wife talk about this, and, I was a only child. My wife has 4 siblings. My daughter has a sister. But I always used to preach and tell my daughters that in this house that we live in, that me and their mother provides for them. Y'all sisters, y'all might argue and fight verbally and all that, but ain't no physical fighting. Ain't no calling your sister B's and H's. That's out. We don't do that. Now, what y'all do behind our back, I don't know. I'm not there. But in front of me, in this house, ain't no B's and H's calling each other that. Ain't no fighting each other. That's something we ain't going to do. So if you got disagreements, say what you got to say, go to your room, whatever. But as sisters, you ain't going to do that.
Right. And
that's one thing we set. You ain't doing that.
Them basically what you would call boundaries. What you would say, like, that ain't going on in this house.
Yeah, that ain't going on in this house. And sometimes as parents, not sometimes, you got to have boundaries.
Right. And being value setters.
You got to have boundaries.
Being value setters, that's a big statement of values.
Yeah, because your children look to you for values.
Right.
Hell, if you don't have no values, how you gonna expect the kids to have values?
Right. And they see what you hold as value.
Yeah.
And that then affects what they hold for value.
Exactly, because they see, okay, Daddy says he values and he loves and respects Mama, but I hear him call Mama B's and H's, and I hear him. So really, Daddy don't value women like I thought he. You know what I'm saying? So you got to role model what you want to see, what you want your kids to see. What you want your kids to do. You got to be a role model of that behavior.
Right. You have
can't talk. You got to walk the talk.
Walk the walk, talk the talk.
You got to walk the walk and talk the talk.
And that steps back into disciplinarian and guide is another role.
Yeah.
And that's a very hard role. Not for the father as much as for a mother to be a disciplinarian. I
mean, some mamas might look at that statement as, man, what you talking about? That ain't hard. It wasn't hard for my mama to be no disciplinarian.
So I'm gonna say it again.
Yeah,
it's hard for some mothers to be disciplinarians and or guides. they feel as though discipline is for the father.
Well, see, the objective of the word discipline comes from it's a Latin word, disciples. Mm-hmm. It means to teach or guide. Mm-hmm. The role of discipline is to teach. So really, as a parent, what you really want to do is teach your kids to self-discipline themselves. Mm-hmm. So that means it'll be less discipline that you have to discipline them about because they self-discipline themselves. Okay. So all I'm saying is there's a difference between discipline versus punishment.
Right. I'm going to read this. This is what it says. Setting fair, consistent boundaries.
Consistent is the key word.
And utilizing age-appropriate consequences, things that you said over here before, helps children learn the same thing what you just said. Self-regulation.
Self-regulation.
Accountability and responsibility.
I have something that I tell my fathers with younger children. I tell them to implement the if. You ought to use this when your kid gets a little older. Use the if-then contract. They say, what's that, Ms. K? You sit down with your child at an early age and you say, if you do this, then I will do this. Mm-hmm. If you don't get your homework, do your homework every day, then you can't go outside to play in the evening. If you don't make a 3.0 grade point average, then I'm going to take basketball practice for you. Mm-hmm. Or if y'all sign that. So then they say, okay, so
that's an if-then contract.
So I got to do this to do this.
Is it a contract?
Yeah, it's a contract between you and your children.
Right.
It's a contract. If-then, it's if-then. But what it does is it teaches your children to self-discipline themselves, which creates...
Can you say that one more time? Because I want to make sure I got it right.
It's called if-then. And it's kind of like it's a contract.
Okay.
But you do like, if you do this, then I will do this. Mm-hmm. So if you got a teenager. If you don't come in, if you come in the house past your curfew, then I'm going to take the car.
Right.
If you don't come home on time, blah, 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 then I'm going to take the phone. Mm-hmm. Real simple. And they like, oh, okay, because guess what they do after that? They say, oh, it's 12:30. You're supposed to be in the house at 1 o'clock. Hey, I got to go, man. Why you got to go? I got to be in the house by 1. I ain't trying to deal with that. Take me 10 minutes to get home. They gone. They get in the house at 12:50. You up waiting on them. They supposed to be there at 1. You say, okay, she here. You sleep. It's a win-win situation. They came in the house on time.
Right. I like that.
It's if-then.
And
you got to start that at an early age.
Right. But that shit, for a teenager, I'm just saying, for a teenager, that should be a contract like about this long, and it should entail all that stuff that teenagers do.
It don't have to be that long. With teenagers, it's a real. Remember, we got to remember first. Parents need to remember who the parent is. Mm-hmm. A lot of times, parents forget they the parents. So, the if-then method works if the parents are responsible, dependable, accountable, if they're there and they got great morals, and they model what they preach. So the if-then method works.
Okay, I want to ask this. The parenting information assessment that we are giving, is this just for single homes, or is it just for homes with two parents, or is it for single? Because if it's the mother by herself, she can implement the if-then.
Yes.
And I know that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to emphasize.
This is parenting. Period.
Right.
One parent, two parent.
Right. I just wanted to emphasize that.
Yeah.
Okay. And we're gonna skip to the next. And
can you imagine we telling single parent moms you couldn't do this? No. And they look at you like, "What you mean I can't do that? I can do this. I'm the parent."
Right. I just wanted to emphasize. I kind of want to emphasize that it's not just.
No, this is parenting.
Yeah, it's not just for parents with two homes. It's emphasized mother, father, it's a parent. Period.
Yeah. Parent. Period.
You know what I mean? So
grandparent raising a grand. Right. Yeah.
So also it said, we're gonna hit these two last ones, then we're gonna skip out.
Okay.
To the next one. Encourager.
Yes, encourager means that you have a daughter who's 10 years old. She want to be a cheerleader at Forest View, and all her friends, she want to go out for cheerleading. She's a little bit heavy. All her friends are smaller than her, and they say, "Oh, you can't be a cheerleader. You too big for them." You tell her, "Girl, what you mean? Don't let them hold you back. You can't be a cheerleader. Go out there and do that." I'm telling you. So you encourage them in whatever they want to do.
Right.
You encourage them. So encouragement means you there with them through the whole process.
Right. It's
the hype man.
Right. It says offering praise, guidance.
Yes.
And safe net.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you're the safety net.
Yeah. You're the safe net.
Yeah.
When they take risks, encourage
them to get up.
Yeah, encourage children to develop a growth mindset, confidence, and independence.
Right. Yeah. So it's great to be an encourager.
Right.
No doubt.
Right. So that's and then we got.
And remember that we talked about supporter earlier.
Right.
Supporter and encourager, sisters and brothers.
Right. And then we said mental and physical health advocate. They say they want you to modeling advocate health behaviors addressing mental or physical health challenges helps teach children the importance to self-care and lifelong wellness.
Yeah, well, you as a parent, you want to make sure your kids are in a good mental space. So you want to always talk to them about what's going on with them, anything they want to talk about. No topic is we can't discuss.
Right.
Whatever I don't know the answer to, I'm gonna find out for you.
Right.
And if we need to talk, So that's real important that we as parents are there for our children mentally. Not letting them go in a room, shut the door. We don't never see them no more. They don't know. We don't know what they on the computer.
Right.
Yeah. So you wanna always be locked in. Really, you want to be an expert of your child. And by doing that, you kind of know where they are mentally. I'm not saying they won't slip some by us every now and then, but it won't be a surprise if you become an expert of your child.
Now, when you said that before, I was like, expert of your child. I was like, yeah, okay, I try to do that. And then the more that I spend time around my son, the more that I see how expert of him I am. What he likes, what he knows, what makes him cry, with everything. Like I know what he wants, and I don't give it to him every time, but 95% of the time I make sure that he gets everything he wants, because I feel like sometimes he just like he'll want to get up on me, and I'm like, nah.
Well, sometimes as a father, but you don't live with your child, right?
No.
Right. So sometimes as a father, when we're not living with our child, we become the Disneyland dad.
Yeah. He live with me 50% of the time.
Oh, good. I'm just saying, but sometimes when we don't see him a lot.
Yeah. No, I see him 50% of the time.
But sometimes when we don't see him a lot, we go. Since I don't see him, I got to give.
No.
Yeah. So
I ain't doing that.
Yeah. So sometimes we tend to do that when we're not around them all the time.
I get him 50% of the time.
Okay.
So and when I say I give him 95% of what he wants, because I know some of the times he's sleepy and he just fighting sleep.
Right.
So I have to understand that, and that's being an expert of him, knowing when.
But it's also good not to give him everything he wants to.
Right, and I know that.
Yeah,
I know that.
Sometimes they get everything. If we get everything they want, there's a word called spoiled.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So I want to jump into what we kind of want: communication gaps. Communication gaps between parents and children.
You guys like, what are they?
Yeah. Well, some of them communication gaps are invalidated emotions, lecturing, active listening, and focusing on the negatives. Now, I know that the focusing on the negatives is something that I have been accused of, and I feel like I can take responsibility and accountability in saying that I have done that on multiple occasions.
I had to learn better communication method with my daughter because I'm a yeller, and one time my wife said, "Hey man, you know when you start yelling, man, they tune that out." Mm-hmm. So I was like, so I had to learn another method of dealing with my daughters. I mean, sometimes I still kind of, but I had to learn another way of dealing with them,
right?
Which helped our relationship. But but you got to be able to communicate with them, and you have with our children, with the boys or girls, but you have to be able to communicate with them in an effective way. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it takes more than one. Meeting.
One time to say something.
Yeah, sometimes it takes 2 or 3 meetings because as they get older, they have their own way of
doing things.
And but you do have to, if one method that as a parent you do is not working, you got to be willing to look in the mirror and say, "Man, I got to make some changes."
Right.
Any parent who can't make no changes,
right,
is in the wrong business.
Right. And you have to know your child.
We don't get it right all the time.
You have to know your child. The expert of your child, know your child. If you are speaking in a way that that child is not listening or hearing you, you're gonna have to. That's like you speaking Spanish and they speaking
you gotta change
another language, or they speaking Russian and you speaking Spanish, and we not gonna hear each other because I'm not listening to what you're saying because I don't hear you. I don't understand that language. I understand this language, and that is something that we have to learn as parents. Right. We have to learn how to switch and know when we're not getting hurt. That's also, I saw things maybe as coaches, and that's something I didn't see anything on here about a parent had to be a coach.
Well, a parent is a coach. I mean that's that's a role.
Right.
One of the roles as a parent is a coach. You gotta. Now I'm talking about this coaching sports. I'm talking about you got to coach them through down different streets in life.
Right.
You got to coach them on relationships. You got to coach them without telling your daughter he ain't the one for you. You got to coach them where they'll be able to see that themselves. You got to coach your son on different methods of talking to ladies or school. So as a parent, we got to be a coach.
Right.
And got to be a coach.
And I didn't see that, but that came to me because I always think if you put a kid in sports, they learn a lot of dynamics in life.
Yeah, sports teach you everything.
Sports teach you how to win, how to lose, how to have teammates, how to help somebody, how to be able to take criticism, how to be able to rise above.
How to play with somebody you really don't really like.
Right, and how to go from, I'm gonna just say this, I went from my first year of sports, of soccer, I went from losing every game, we lost every game, to the next season, we won a lot of games, and I grew and I understood how to play, and I understood how to go. But you had to first learn to lose. I had to learn how to lose.
Yeah, you had to learn what wasn't working.
What wasn't working.
Yeah,
you understand. So, and as a parent who's learned and been through sports, and you try to put your kids through sports, I think that's mostly what you want your kids to learn is how to win, how to lose, how to be a teammate.
But I think parents also need to understand that if their kids don't have that sports gene, other extracurricular activity that you can put them in that teaches those same things as basketball, football, baseball, soccer does.
And what are those?
Dance.
See, I never.
Competitive dance.
Yeah, I mean,
my daughter was a professional dancer. Started it when she was younger, but that's dealing with hundreds of girls, auditioning.
Right. That's
the best of the best, getting rejected.
Right.
Selected for pieces. So all that goes on, and they just as great. She's just as great of an athlete as a football player.
Right.
Somebody dance 2 or 3 hours on ballet, on point. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying those, other than there are other lessons that the same lessons that are taught in soccer, baseball, basketball, football can be taught in dance, can be taught in the band, can be taught in other extracurriculars. So all I'm saying is your kid don't have to play sports to learn those lessons because everybody can't play sports.
Right. And it ain't about, to me, I don't think it's about the sport. I just think about the camaraderie, the seeing other people, and you may not understand them, but when you are at that juncture, if it's sports, if it's whatever, dance, if y'all can get together and make something happen that's good, like it's almost it's
camaraderie because I saw it at dance. It's the same thing.
That's the same thing. And I push that for sons, daughters, whoever. I would want my granddaughter, anybody else in sports, any type of something where you can see them get coached and see how they respond to coaching, how they respond to being on a team.
Right.
You understand? So I want to take that and go with that on Real Talk with Myron Mitchell, and we got Ronnie Cage. And we didn't finish our conversation. We never finish. We don't never finish. We always leave off with so much stuff to talk. So we going to have a part 2 coming. And we're going to talk about more communication of how we can communicate with our kids. What levels do we go to? Harsh criticism, nagging, limited freedom of speech is one of the other things that we're saying that the gap between children and parents. And that's another thing that we're going to talk about. So thank you for coming to chill with us with Real Talk with Myron Mitchell, with Ronnie Cage and Myron Mitchell. And we'll see you on the next show.